All right, we're live for everyone. What's up, everyone? We are speed running some movie reviews. So, as I said in the descriptions here, in the past month, I've seen a lot of movies and I've reviewed some of them on my channel and on my other channel, The Grail Guys, Cinema Jones Presents. Go check those out. But writing reviews for all these movies takes time. Watching these movies takes time, and I have a finite amount of time. Unfortunately, like most people, I gotta work full time and do all kinds of other shit. So I can't write reviews for all these movies that I've seen. So here we go. We're gonna speed run some of them and give you some brief thoughts on some of the movies I've seen in the past month. Excuse me. Okay, where to start? Well, uh, Labor Day, so the beginning of last month, um, saw three movies over Labor Day weekend. One of them was Caught Stealing, which I did review on the Grail Guys, so go check that out. The other two I haven't gotten around to writing up. Those were The Roses and the Toxic Avenger. So let's start with The Roses. That is an update of it was made a movie in the 80s with Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, Danny DeVito. It was based on originally a book of the same name. The 80s movie was called War of the Roses. I think the book was just called The Roses. I don't remember the 80s movie too much. I was pretty young. I saw it probably a couple of times. I remember liking it, but it wasn't super memorable to me. Um, the new one I liked more. Hello, Grace. Welcome to the channel. Hello, numbers and names and everyone. Matthias Martinez. What's up, everyone? We're speed running movie reviews, talking about The Roses, and we're going to be talking about others soon. Let me know what you thought. Roses, I like the new one more than the one from the 80s, but like I said, I couldn't remember the 80s one too much. But I remember enjoying it. The new one I thought was better from what I remembered. It was raunchy and dark as hell, and those are both right up my alley. So I definitely enjoyed those parts of it. Um, Pretty super predictable, but that's kind of what you get when you sign up for a movie like that. Pretty formulaic as far as like I said, the dark humor and the raunchy humor. But that's what I signed up for, so I was on board. Nothing groundbreaking or anything like that. Welcome to everyone who's joining. We're speed running some movie reviews. Just getting finished talking about The Roses. Overall, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. Pretty serviceable, enjoyable. It's not too long, hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, something like that. Um, so if you're looking for a quick, dark, raunchy laugh, it's worth checking out. Same weekend, we saw The Toxic Avenger. This one right up front was better than The Roses. Was I think on the shelf for a year. I think it originally came out last year, but not in like wide release or anything. So it finally came out this year, about a month ago, month and a half, something like that. Peter Dinklage and Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood. Yeah, a few people now are coming back to me that were in it. Um, it was really good. It's based on the original camp movies in the 70s, 80s. They made a bunch of them. This guy falls into a bucket of radioactive sludge, gets turned into a kind of a superhero, and he goes back and wreaks havoc on people who causes pain or whatever. I don't know. I can't tell you much about the story because who gives a shit about the story? It's about this guy. This so it's unrated. First of all, the Toxic Avenger was unrated, so I went in knowing, okay, this is going to be fucking great, probably. Oh, thank you for the rose. Welcome everyone who's joining. We're speed running movie reviews, talking about Toxic Avenger right now. was really good. Like I said, unrated. So you go in knowing that you're signing up for some crazy shit, and even the preview or the trailer was like a red band trailer. Go figure for an unrated movie because he's got like a spear that he's throwing at taking people's faces off. It rips a guy's arm off or some shit. I can't even keep straight all the nutty shit that I saw in that movie, but I enjoyed it was fully self-aware. You go into it knowing what you're gonna get, and you're gonna be satisfied. It's. I said the roses was raunchy. This was like 10 levels beyond that, right? This is next level craziness that you're getting when you go in to see the Toxic Avenger. So that one I probably give like a 7.5 out of 10. It was better than the roses. It was really good. Um, Runtime was perfect. Pacing was perfect. They told a crazy ass story. It went absolutely hard as fuck, bonkers, bananas shit. So go see Toxic Avenger when it's available. I'm sure it's probably available on streaming by now. I can't imagine it stayed in theaters too long. What else did we see after that? So the Roses. Uh, Thank you for everyone joining. We're speed running movie reviews. We gave the Roses 6 out of 10. Toxic Avenger 7.5 out of 10. Pretty good. Where we going next? I saw at home here. I saw Sisu, older movie, 2019 maybe, 5-6 years ago. A action movie set in Finland at the tail end of World War II. The Nazis are grabbing everything they can and burning the rest down on their way out of the country because they know they're losing the war. And this one soldier is prospecting for gold at the tail end of the war because he's sick of fighting. He wants to find some gold so he can retire. And the movie opens with him, in fact, finding a large deposit of gold. And he's super happy. He mines it all up. He's got bags full of gold. And on his way back to cash it in, of course, wouldn't you know, planes loads. I speak English good. Plane loads of Nazis show up and start harassing him. And they go hard on this guy, and he goes fucking 10 times harder right back at him. This movie is bananas, like the Toxic Avenger, but in a more realistic, much grittier way, right? It's the old trope of the one man army takes on all the Nazis. They chase him through a minefield. He he throws a landmine at a guy. It hits him on the head and it blows him up. That's just a small taste of all the crazy shit that you get when you're seeing Sisu. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. SISU 2019, somewhere thereabouts. World War II era, one man army type movie for everyone just joining us. We're movie reviewing. So that one was crazy, but also really good. Welcome everyone joining now. That one, where would I put that? I might give that an 8 out of 10. Sisu. It was really good. Again, perfect runtime, didn't overstay its welcome, and as long as you go in, as long as you brain shut down for a minute there. As long as you go in knowing what to expect, which is some crazy one man army shit, again, you'll be happy you went in for it. So check out Sisu. Going back, Toxic Avenger 7.5 out of 10. The Roses 6 out of 10. Where do we go from here? Okay, after that I saw Splitsville 2 weeks ago now, maybe something like that. Dakota Johnson, a couple other people whose names I can't remember. Comedy, and I'll say right up front with Splitsville, one of the funniest movies of the year. I didn't like Materialists so much, the other comedy Dakota Johnson was in. They called it a romantic comedy, but I didn't get much comedy out of it. A little bit here and there, but this one was absolutely hysterical. Uh, the movie starts out with this couple. This chick is giving her husband a hand job in the car, and it causes another car passing them to crash. And they pull over to see if they're okay. The wife gives the wife in the other car who flew through the windshield apparently, mouth to mouth. Cop shows up, tells her, "Okay, you can stop now." Wife says, "Should I keep going?" Cop says, uh, "Yeah, you can, but she ain't coming back." So that pretty much sets the tone for the whole movie. At which point the cop turns to the husband and says, "Sir, why is your penis out?" Again, setting the tone for the rest of the movie because most of the rest of the movie is that sort of humor, which I love. So that one was hysterical. Splitsville, Dakota Johnson, and I cannot remember any of the other actors' names that were in it. I'm sorry, but kind of an independent movie. Um, but the premise is this married couple breaks up. The guy goes to spend time with his best friend since childhood and his wife, another married couple, who confess to him that they have an open marriage. And he ends up sleeping with the wife in the open marriage, and that causes issues. The two guys get in a hilarious, like 5 or 10 minute fight. That's just the most bizarre movie fight you've ever seen because they're friends, but the one guy is mad at the other guy for sleeping with his wife, and the one guy doesn't want to fight him, but they do, and that's pretty bananas. So you check it out just for that. This guy is just letting his dick hang out for half of the movie. That's kind of hilarious, I think, as well. Don't see nearly enough of that in movies. Women got their tits out all the time. Not nearly enough dicks hanging out in movies. I'm for it. I'm not gay, but equal rights, right? Dudes, get your dicks out. TikToks, welcome everyone joining. We're at the speed run of movies. We gave The Roses 6 out of 10. Toxic Avenger 7.5 out of 10. Sisu 8 out of 10. Splitsville, ooh, I think we're double dipping here. I think we're giving Splitsville also a 7.5 out of 10. It's right in there with Toxic Avenger and Sisu. It fell apart a little bit at the end. It didn't really nail the landing as much as I would have liked, but overall, pretty hilarious. So if you're looking for a laugh and you like just super cringy, edgy comedy type shit, check out Splitsville. And then finally, unfortunately, I had to save the worst for last because it's the most recent one I've seen. Afterburn. This one, you can tell right away why it's going to get a low marks because it didn't get much promotion. Like it had a trailer. It didn't have any reviews before it came out, or like even the weekend it came out. I don't think. I think they delayed it. Just all kinds of shit were troubling going into it. My friend told me it had B movie written out all over it, and which by itself would be fine. I love B movies. I just got done talking about Toxic Avenger was fully self aware. That was absolutely a B movie, and it was great. So you can be a B movie as long as you're self aware and tongue in cheek about it, and self effacing a little bit. You can be a B movie and still be fine. This one, Afterburn, was not. It was not self aware at all. It was trying as hard as it could to be a like legitimate sci-fi action comedy. I think are the three genres it listed itself as, and it did not deliver really on any of them. The comedy, I can't remember laughing one time throughout this movie. The sci-fi, the premise is that solar flares have knocked out all the electronics in the world, and the world plunges into darkness and shit, and everyone's killing each other. And it's a few years late after this happened. So that's the one sci-fi element that they claim makes this a sci-fi movie. I don't even really consider that sci-fi because it's pretty fucking plausible. You can see it happening. So, comedy, sci-fi, not really on either of those. Action, yeah, a little bit. It had a couple decent action scenes, but the fight choreography throughout the movie was pretty terrible. It was lazy, unoriginal, unimaginative, left much to be desired. And then all the other technical aspects, the editing was the worst I've ever seen in a movie. They left in so much shit that should have been cut out. The pacing was bad. The cinematography was bad. The music, the soundtrack, and the score of the score, I don't know, but the soundtrack, like the songs they picked for the fight scenes and the action sequences and all that, it was all just terrible. None of it worked. It felt like 10-year-old me would have loved it because it felt like the movie was made by a team of 10-year-olds, right? And they thought all this shit was gonna be super rad, man. But no, it wasn't. It really wasn't. So Afterburn, there's like nothing redeeming about it. Even the performances. So like Sam Jackson, great actors in the movie. Samuel L. Jackson, um, Olga Kurilenko, and Tormund, Giant's Bane from Game of Thrones. His name escapes me. Big redheaded guy. He was fun in the movie. They all kind of gave you about what you expect. Dave Bautista, who I love, was the lead in the movie. Man, just kind of phoned it in. I love him and everything else he did, but no charisma in this one. It just he was he was cashing a paycheck, I think, as were most of the other actors in this film, probably. Excuse me. You're just joining us, Afterburn. It's our last movie. We're speedrunning movie reviews. And I unfortunately saved the worst for last, Afterburn. As it's a 0 out of 10. As I said, there's no redeeming qualities. Everything about this movie is bad. It was long. I checked my watch constantly throughout the movie, just hoping that it would end. Um, it was what was it? I was doing a double header. Oh yeah, the night I saw Afterburn. Okay, tricked you. I didn't save the worst for last because the night I saw Afterburn, I did a double feature. It was the first movie. I almost didn't see the second one because Afterburn was so bad. I was exhausted just from watching that shit. So I almost didn't see the second one. But I did see the second one. So we got one more movie we can talk about a little bit. Because after Afterburn, I went over and saw the Demon Slayer movie, Infinity Castle. Never seen an episode of Demon Slayer before in my life. Didn't really call out to. I love anime. I've seen all. You see the Gear 5 Luffy on the wall behind me there. Seen all of One Piece, read all the manga. Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Full Metal Alchemist, all of that. I've seen all of them. I love all of them. Never seen Demon Slayer. Just never really called out to me. But I went and saw the movie because it looked good, and I love the fact that we're seeing so much anime shit in American theaters now. Chainsaw movie's coming next month. Jujutsu Kaisen movie coming in December. I'm loving it. I'm gonna go see those for sure. So I saw the Demon Slayer movie. Again, never saw an episode in my life. Started watching episodes after I came home from that because I got to get caught up now. It was great. The movie, everything you want. It's like they do with these anime movies now. It's basically was, 10 episodes, maybe 8 episodes, I don't know, something of the anime series, just kind of packed together and released into theaters because it was like 2.5 hours. So yeah, what would that be? Like 8 episodes, probably something like that. They just got to the Infinity Castle, and they're working their way up the tiers of the bad guys, the demons, working on slaying them as the name entails. But yeah, I thought it was right up there with the rest of all the anime that I love. In the moment here, because I kind of had forgotten that I had even seen it, I don't really know what to talk about it. But I enjoyed their animation style, the thick border lines on the characters. I really enjoyed that from Demon Slayer. Um, and the stories were good. They presented a few backstories that were fittingly tragic. So there you go. Demon Slayer, that one, give probably again like a 7 out of 10. Maybe once I go watch the rest of the series, I give it a bit higher, just because I'm not that familiar with it. But I enjoyed it way better than Afterburn. So thank you everyone joining here. Give you the quick rundown because we're about to head out. But we speed ran some movie reviews, all the shit I've seen in the last month, and just didn't have time to get around to writing full reviews of. We did the Roses remake of War of the Roses from the 80s and the book of the same name. 6 out of 10. Pretty good, raunchy, dark comedy. Toxic Avenger, Peter Dinklage update of the 70s, 80s camp horror movies. 7.5 out of 10. Way over the top, really good, hilarious. Kevin Bacon as the villain, that's always fun. And Elijah Wood as like his henchman, looking like the Penguin or something. That was pretty amusing as well. Okay, The Roses, Toxic Avenger. What did we do? Sisu. We went back to a movie from 5 or 6 years ago. Sisu, the action World War II era one man army type movie. What did I say that was? 8 out of 10. Yeah, that one was really good. We did Splitsville, another comedy. Dakota Johnson. Better comedy than Materialists. Better rom com. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one to judge rom coms, but it was definitely a better comedy. I didn't laugh much at Materialists. I laughed a lot at Splitsville. It was hysterical all the way through. Kind of petered out a little bit at the end, but still a solid. What did I get? 7.5 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's up there. They're all of these except Afterburn are up there. They're solid movies. You won't be disappointed in seeing any of them probably. Afterburn, ugh, that's the one. That's the one standout for terribleness. Ugh. Action, comedy, sci-fi didn't deliver on any of those three things. Dave Bautista, disappointed. Not even mad, just disappointed. Like your dad. I love Dave Bautista, but not in this one. 0 out of 10 Afterburn. Don't waste your time. It's awful. And then Demon Slayer, the movie Infinity Castle, really good. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Give it what you want. Again, they're all except for Afterburn. They're all up there. Solid movies. You won't be disappointed in. If you love anime, you're gonna love Demon Slayer. I hadn't even seen it at all before I saw it, and I enjoyed it. So there you go. Now I got to go back and watch the other 4 seasons or whatever there are, on top of all the other shit I gotta watch. I don't have time to write movie reviews. Now I gotta watch 4 seasons of Demon Slayer. Go figure. All right. Well, that's it, I think, for today. Got all those movie reviews out of the way. Now I can go see 10 new movies tomorrow and do the same thing next week or talk about something else. who knows? What you'll see is what you're going to get, and you'll love it. Bye-bye.